be absolutely devastating.
This is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this broadcast forever, and this is the worst damn podcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I win this match.
Well, well, well. What do we have here? It is I, Christopher Bob Steele, the winner of GWR's first ever promo battle. I knocked down 7 other competitors, finally ending with a guy from Southern Indiana that calls himself Chuck Sexton. Chuck, you didn't stand a chance. The moment you opened your mouth, I and all the fans knew who was gonna reign supreme and stand atop the shit-talking mountain. Enough about that. I would like to introduce the members of the award-winning Gonzo.S Wrestling Room. First off, you have the man behind the madness, Christopher Gonzo Gonzalez. His papa, the man who made Gonzo, Tony Gonzalez. The man who's been to more pro wrestling shows in the state of Indiana than you ever dreamed of. Marcus, the Mastermind Fine, and his beautiful wife, Kelly, oh, so fine. So be sure, wait, there's another guy? Oh, yeah, I don't know how I missed the fat guy with the straight build hat and the stupid shirt. The guy who says the ratings draw, fat boy Warren Misery. Yeah, he's part of the show. So hey, be sure to check us out every Monday at 6:30ish as we talk about the goings-on in all of the state of Indiana's professional wrestling. And pro wrestlers, if you guys think you have what it takes to stand atop the mountain as the greatest shit talker in all of Indiana, send your promos to Gonzo's Wrestling Room in care of Christopher Gonzalez. Thank you and have a good night.
How's everybody doing out there? I thought maybe he was going to bring another guy in, but not yet. Okay.
I'm getting tired of hearing it, guys.
I know.
I heard a rumor that Chris Bob Steele's having a hard time finding pants that he can wear because he keeps losing belts.
Oh.
We'll get to that in a second, won't we, Marcus?
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Yep.
Welcome, everybody, to Gonzo's Wrestling Room, Monday, November 24th. Hopefully, everybody's having a good day. Hopefully, everybody's going to have a great week. Have a great Thanksgiving, hopefully, for everybody. Guys, we're going to have a special guest coming on with us here right now. We got Reggie from WCWO. He's going to come on. He's going to tell us about some big shows that they've got coming up. Hey, Reggie, how's it going?
What's up, guys? Man, how's it going? It's good to be back. You can see me this time.
That's true. That's true. You guys got some big shows coming up. You got Black Friday and then something extra special. Black Friday special enough, that show is every year, but then you've added something else. So can you tell us about what's going on this Friday at the Dub?
Yeah, well, we got our annual Black Friday show taking place on Black Friday. I think this is our 5th straight year doing our big Black Friday show. So that'll be going on at 7:30 our normal time. We can get into a couple of the matches here in a little bit, but at midnight, we are bringing back our unrated show. We did that right after Thunderstorm earlier this year, Royal Rumble weekend. It did extremely well, and we thought, what better way to celebrate Black Friday doing the Underrated show again. So, oops, we did it again. Underrated 2 is going down on Friday night at midnight.
Yeah, and the first one that you guys did was outstanding. It was very entertaining. Loved it. Yeah, I just was tired as hell after that night.
We all
but
we all were. Some of us were
oh,
up
I
at
was.
4 o'clock that morning doing press with local news. It was a very long day, a long night, but man,
Yeah.
super rewarding to have that all happen the way it did.
Oh, most definitely. Well, can you tell us some about the first show, and then maybe a little bit about the midnight show?
Yeah, so the matches have all been made official as of this morning. We've got our Outlaw Championship on the line. Brody Bodkins confronted David Light last Friday night, so David Light will be defending that title against Brody Bodkins on Friday. We've got our Territorial Championship. It's really weird. Last month, Phoenix won nothing to do with Zach Nova, and now he won a match with Zach Nova. So that territorial title is on the line in a lumberjack match between Zach and Phoenix on Friday. Phoenix won't be able to run like a little. Can I cuss on the show?
Yes.
It never stopped us.
October. So, and then Gunslinger title on the line. Mark Magnus will be getting a shot at War Ready Malenko on Friday night for the Gunslinger title. I think a lot of fans are going to be really excited to see Mark Magnus finally getting that championship opportunity. Anyone who's been following his journey, it's been one hell of a journey to see somebody, from the local homeless camp like Mark Magnus getting a shot at climbing up the ladder. So, but then on top of that, you got our tag team titles on the line in a triple threat match. Rampage, Slaughterhouse, Two Loud Strays. The first fall is going to be an elimination match. Then once it's down to 2 teams, it will become a tornado tag team match.
Yeah.
So
That's the way to do it.
That sounds great.
I mean, it's been a violent, physical, hard to control program to begin with. So what better way than just have absolute anarchy and chaos? Jordan James versus Cameron Saturn. It's kind of a feud that's been underlying for a few months, but it's been there for a while. Cameron Saturn is tired of Jordan James cheating to win, so we're literally going to call it a fair and square match. Taped in the middle of the ring in the form of a square. You have to pin your opponent in the middle of the ring to win that match.
Oh,
That works in Jordan James's favor. Fairness, all Jordan James's advantage in that match.
that sounds very interesting. That sounds like so far. That sounds
Where'd
like
you guys go?
show.
Uh-oh.
There you are.
We didn't go nowhere, dude.
Yeah,
That's weird. But I think fairness would work in the advantage of Jordan James. I think Marcus will agree with me on that, and so will Warren. So, but then Pogo and Kenneth James. Loser carries the winner's bags, and then Jordan Davis, the inevitable one, versus Scorpion, and then the match a lot of people are really excited about. Zay Gates will be taking on Mike Noble Friday.
man, that's one hell of a card.
That's
Marcus,
just one show.
Yeah, Marcus, that might be with that card if it lives up to its the hype. That you could be looking at a top 5 show of the year there.
That could be 2 in the same month because if you remember, November 1st is Halloween show went on the list for top show of the year.
Yes,
That's right.
If you do another one, we might be able to do 2 in the same month from the same company in the same building.
That's
We could have 3 after Friday.
Well, no, I can't count the after because if you actually want to be technical about it, that's Saturday.
Okay, fine, Marcus. Well, every show I've been on should be in the running for top show of the year. We'll just call it. So.
One thing I did want to ask you about that I've noticed, I haven't got to come to any shows, but I do follow you guys, your webpage and Marcus's results and your guys' results and everything. I've noticed that your tag team division has really taken off and got quite a few tag teams. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Dude, that came out of nowhere, man. Joey and I talked about that a lot. Where 2 months ago we were. I don't want to say we're struggling to find teams, but yeah, Ruthless Domination and the Two Loud Strays, and then you had to kind of throw some guys together there to get tag teams, and then out of nowhere you got Slaughterhouse, who their ascent to the top of the tag team division was super fast. We put them together, and like a week or two later, fans are chanting for them. They got Rampage came out of nowhere. Metal Gear Saturn, who not a big fan of them right now, but they're there. They're not loving Cameron right now, but here we are. Good God, I've got the roster open here right now on my computer. You always got the James Gang back in action, and then who can forget about WOR, Max Sterling and Pogo when they're together. So we went from maybe 2 or 3 tag teams. We got 7 or 8 tag teams right now.
Yeah,
You know how hard it is to fit all of this into an 8 match card, guys? You know how hard that is?
Yeah.
It's hard, but we're making it work. And yeah, this tag team division has really exploded and started to blossom into something fun.
Let me ask Marcus this question because he goes to all these shows. I would have to say that it's definitely got to be one of the strongest tag team divisions.
Oh yeah,
out there.
it is. I don't know that many tag teams going.
No, I don't either. So you guys have done a really good job. I can remember TJ discussing about the tag teams. I may have been back at the one of the expos at the. Heck, I'm having a brain fart, guys. One of the events that we went to.
Oh God! One of the 8 conventions that we do every year. You got PopCon, Comic-Con, Comic Convention, Black Expo.
Might have been PopCon, or no, it was the other one. It was the first one where he was talking about the tag team division, and you guys build it up. So you guys have done a fantastic job on that, no doubt about it.
I appreciate it.
Can you give us anything on the midnight show? Can you give us maybe one little surprise?
I can.
Yeah.
Pogo is going to be.
Guys. This stuff's not. This is now being released right now.
Yeah.
This hasn't been
That's
out
why
there
you bring
yet.
me on for the. Notice you don't have Wes Ryan on the show.
He's in the chat. He says that you and him are one of the tag team. The dub tag teams, and he's somewhat bound out again.
Man, it's me and
House.
Wes versus Logic and a dude in a hat. So
Hollywood House is in the house. Good to see you.
Yes,
that's right. Hell of a podcaster there.
Kelly's in the house too.
Yep.
Literally there and here. So.
And his shows that Hollywood House and his group does.
For the midnight show, Pogo is going to be in a barefoot mousetrap match.
Well, that damn Pogo on his bare feet. We're
just waiting for somebody. We're just waiting for somebody to have the guts to step up to the plate on that one.
No, you know what kind of match you need to have? Loser needs to wash those ugly ass feet. That's that.
If Pogo is watching, it may end up being you that's in that match with him, Marcus.
Not Harley.
That dude is terrifying, by the way. So Jackson Morgan versus Cameron Saturn. Pop cans on a door.
What? On a door?
Soda cans on a door. Pop cans. Soda cans.
I'm like, what the hell? Okay.
We're a month late, but yeah. So that match,
you get them on sale right now. But
see here,
Mike Lee's in the house. Mike Lee says you suck. What said
he always says that. But Mike Lee, he may say I suck, but he is one of the best managers in all of pro wrestling right now.
Yes.
The amount of gold that man has helped win, you cannot deny the greatness of the Skull Crusher. So,
very underrated.
We're gonna have Phoenix in a barbed wire match.
I'm surprised Phoenix decided to do a no show after the last one.
It took a lot of work to get him on this show. We'll say that.
He's got a frequent flyer card for the hospital, so he's.
I was wondering if he was just making the reservation.
It was not easy to get that one signed, guys. I'm going to be honest. It was not easy to get that one signed. But yeah, that one was really, really hard. Mike Noble and Waterboy will be in a playpen match at midnight, which is basically we're going to fill the ring with a crap ton of weapons and let them have a lot of fun. It's like a play date with weapons.
I about thought for a second you say both those are going to be a loser wears a diaper match. So,
hey, you should add that step.
Hey, Bachelor was in what years ago? I got a picture of him with that, but that's another story. So,
Malenko, our Gunslinger champion, is going to be facing the pinata once again. We're going to fill that pinata with thumbtacks and Legos, and anybody who is willing to step up to War Ready Malenko is going to be in for one hell of a night.
Will that be like the pinata we seen at the last one, like a luchador-looking WCWO person?
You will see soon.
Well, because if you bust the top half of that, I need that because I got the bottom half and I need the top half to build my collection.
You got Frankenstein a pinata.
You will see very, very soon. I tell you that you'll see soon. But there will be some more stuff happening at the midnight show. You will see flyers and graphics go up on that. If not tonight, tomorrow. I'm finalizing that right now. Those are the matches I can advertise right now, but there will obviously be more than that on Friday night at midnight. So maybe a couple surprises. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know.
And I know for a fact that Marcus and Warren were both at the last midnight show, as I was. It was fantastic. If you're into deathmatch wrestling or just hardcore type stuff, they did a fantastic job. They worked their ass off. These are guys that normally don't do necessarily hardcore guys. They don't wrestle hardcore every Friday night or every Saturday, every weekend. But these guys did a hell of a job. A couple of them landed in the ER, but maybe making reservations for Saturday morning.
I will say this about the hardcore show, which we did let everybody who asked know earlier this year for the first one. It is not a family-friendly event. Obviously, families are welcome, children are welcome. We just don't pay parents. Use your discretion because it's not going to be your typical WCWO show. It is not. There's a reason why we call it unrated, and it's at midnight because it is not family-friendly. You're there's not going to be anything out of line, but it is not your typical squeaky clean, family friendly environment or show. Anybody who was at the first one knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes, and if you're wanting to go to either one of these shows, I would get there early. They're probably going to sell out. Would be my guess.
They will sell out. They will sell out.
So you want to get there early. WCWO always knocks it out of the park. It's going to be a great 2 shows that night. It's going to be a great event. So definitely check it out. Can you give okay? Go ahead, Warren.
I think you say for the unrated show, you could definitely rate it PV for pure violence.
Yes.
And if we're lucky,
use that one, Reggie. Use it. I'm giving it to you. Use that one, buddy.
And maybe if we're lucky, maybe my co-GM won't make it out of the show, and I'll be the only GM left at the dub after Friday night, huh? Yeah.
Okay.
I know Marcus is on board with that.
No comment.
Again, I believe that your doors open for the first show at 6:30, correct?
Yep.
And the show bell time at 7:30. Do you know what time you guys will open the doors for the midnight show?
11:30.
11:30. Okay. That way everybody knows.
Stay posted. I'm just waiting for the final word on it, but stay posted for a special. I want to say a potential special deal as far as.
Okay, because that's what I said. I've had a few people contact me wanting to know if you are doing combos if they were to go to both shows. So,
okay. Well, that sounds great.
I have the info. I just want to double check and make sure I have it correct before I put it out there in the universe. Because we don't need any more people having a reason to say I suck. We want it to be legit, not because I got something wrong. So,
well, guys, do you guys have any questions for Reggie before we let him get out of here?
I don't believe so. Beef up your security.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun night, guys. I appreciate you having me on. Hopefully you guys are able to get out there Friday and check out at least one of the 2 shows, if not both. It's gonna be a great night. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and hopefully we can deliver on everything you guys are hoping for.
Oh, I have no doubt. You guys always deliver. You guys do a fantastic job. You guys been knocking it out of the park. Again, if you're not familiar with WCWO, these are guys that do probably 100 shows a year. Just not in their building. They travel all over the place. They do pop cons. They do all kinds of cons and do all kinds of stuff. So fair shows. They do every little bit of everything, and they not always knock it out of the park. I can't give them enough praise. In my opinion, the best promotion in Indiana, even though there are a lot of great promotions in Indiana. Hey, we appreciate you coming on, Reggie.
Yeah.
You could have said it better. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. We'll see you Friday.
Yep. Okay, Mr. Marcus. You ready for your Marcus Fine Independent Wrestling Report?
I'm ready.
Let's
Okay,
do
I
it.
got, as always, several things to cover. First off, I do need to do a shout out. There's a guy down in Kentucky named Mr. Kenny Cummings. He hit his 100th show over the weekend. So
All right.
I knew he was going to do it a few months ago when I asked him his number, and his was like 6 over mine. And I knew he was going to hit 100, and he did this past weekend. So shout out to Kenny Cummings, 100. That's pretty good.
Yes.
So he's in the 100 club. Fantastic. Good guy. Okay, we'll do prayers first. Of course, please continue to pray for Todd Wiley. The memorial show is this weekend. I will cover that before we go off air.
Okay.
The Chris Wiley Memorial Show on Sunday. Also, prayers to Justin Grubb. He had a car versus deer incident over the weekend, and the deer won. So prayer for him. He's fine. The car is not. The deer is not. He pissed us off really bad Saturday because you hit a deer that morning, but we did not have venison chili at the snack bar during the show. What the hell? Why did you put that? I mean, come on, dude. We could have had deer burgers over the weekend, but oh no, he was too worried about his car. So, well, I guess. But anyhow. Okay, we got a whole bunch of birthdays. Here we go. Ref Angel's birthday is today. Terry Eaglin, he's a Kentucky promoter. His birthday is today. Tyler Scott's birthday is on the 25th. What's that? Tomorrow, Tuesday.
Yep.
Melena Starrett's birthday is on Wednesday, and I forgot Michael Starrett's birthday was last week. He's done some results for us over the last couple months. Jebediah Blackhawk's birthday is on the 26th. That's Wednesday. NVW promoter Chris Hall's birthday is on the 26th. Our very own Christopher Gonzalez's birthday is on Thursday. Everybody eat turkey for Chris.
Yep.
Matt Diesel's birthday is on Thursday. Another Indiana superfan, Kristen Garver's birthday is on Thursday. Aiden Blackheart's birthday is on Saturday. Indiana legend Rob Raymer's birthday is on Sunday. And the late Nathan Barrett's widow, Amber Barrett's birthday is on Sunday. So happy birthday to everyone. If we missed you, happy birthday. I hope you have a good week. Now, I'm already big. No shirt this week. I will have a shirt spotlight next week. It did not come in yet. But today we're going to do a book.
Whoa!
Yes.
I don't know if you can see this. Anyhow, this is called Blood and Bedlam in the Glass City, the hottest unknown territory of the 80s. When Dick the Bruiser got done running in Indy, Dr. Jerry Graham moved the promotion, the WWA, to Toledo, Ohio. That's what this book is about. Calypso Jim in this book, Bobo Brazil, Moose Trollock, Bruiser. This was written by Phil Monahan. I think he's the guy. He's the promoter that runs that CIW up north that Maliko and Andre Stray work for. I've gotten about halfway through it. This is a very good book. So contact Bobo Jr., Deborah, Phil Monahan. They can all tell you how to get a hold of this. So very good book so far. So not too many books you see for local, and this is local. So
yes, most definitely.
Okay. Got some results here. I will do the shows that I was not at first. I want to thank Steve Butler and Wes Ryan. Steve Butler was in the house at WCWO at the Outlaw Arena on Friday, and then Wes always sends them to me too. So thank you to both guys for this. Friday night, Outlaw Arena, WCWO. Zay Gates pinned Oso Pierce. Pogo with Freak pinned Billy Palmer. Scorpion and Waterboy defeated Jordan Davis and Juan Sanchez. Highlight Reel defeated Mike Noble and Phoenix. The Pharaoh King pinned Will Asher with rope leverage. Brody Brockins defeated Kurt Busse, Jackson Morgan, and Andre Stray in a fatal four-way, and I think that's how he got the number one contender for David Light's title Friday. David Light pinned Zach Nova via cheating. That's what was said. And Jordan James and Maliko defeated Cameron Saturn and Mark Magnus via interference from Skull Crusher. And I had to confirm this was what he said. His match of the night was Scorpion Waterboy defeated Jordan Davis and Juan Sanchez. So I had to verify that that is exactly what he said, and that's what he said. So that was his match of the night. So I know, Juan, you're in here. So Juan made his return. I hope to continue to see him. So they're good to have you back. Okay. Thanks to Sean Berkey. He was down at Emerge 92, which was called Steadfast in Columbus, Indiana on Saturday the 22nd. The pre-show Facebook Live match, Picture Perfect Jordan Cage defeated Chris Owens by pinfall. Jackie Thad defeated Casey King by pinfall. Marty Bell defeated Leela Feast by pinfall. She retained the Emerge title, the Emerge Ladies title. Pretty Boy Smooth defeated Sean Hoodridge by pinfall. Dylan Cole defeated Matt Diesel by pinfall. Braden Lee and the Original Sins, which is Tyler Lydell and Mean Dick Michaels, defeated Ashton Adonis and the Dead Presidents, which is Chet Ripley and Jeremy Halley. When Lydell the interim Outbreak champion Trey Lamar defeated the Outbreak champion Jason Hodge by pinfall. He is the undisputed Outbreak champion. And Paragon defeated legendary Larry Deed by pinfall to retain the Emerge title. And, of course, they sold out as they always do. So thank you to Wes, Steve, and Sean, as always. All right, so then Kelly and I, of course, was at AACW's November Rain, Sharpsville, Indiana on Saturday. Tate Manson defeated Cody Lee. One half of the AACW Tag Team Champions, Cake Monster, defeated Hobo Jones. Christian Cash versus Eric Onyx ended in a double count out when both wrestlers could not answer the 10 count. Jensen with sorry, there's going to be rain tomorrow. That's what that's telling me. Anyhow, Jensen with Ajax defeated Paris McQueen and the Honey Badger. She's the number one contender for the ladies' title. Cruiser defeated Juice Warta to retain the AACW US title. Justin Terrell and Americ Kane defeated the E. Tanner Kelly and Jake Elliott. Brody Botkins defeated Christopher Bob Steele. He's the new AACW EEC champion. And Damian DeVille defeated Kelly's boyfriend, Nerd, the fifth, to retain the AACW heavyweight title. My matches of the night probably was Brody and Bob and Damian and Nerd. Very well done. But the whole night was fantastic. And I got to commentate with Travis Southern and Bobo Brazil Jr. It was a fun night. So, Kelly's in there yelling about DeVille because I said something about Nerd. But anyhow.
I watched some of that show. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was. It was a good night. It was a good night. So, all right. I believe that's all I have.
Okay. I did want to say, you mentioned about Emerge. A good friend who was in here earlier, I don't know if he's still here, Hollywood House, was there at Emerge. He was in the corner of Paragon. He was the manager of Paragon. He was in his corner. He was there, and he was telling a story on his show Sunday about can you go back to the results for Emerge there? He was talking about a wrestler there, and I can't remember. Can you do the first 2 or 3 matches?
Yeah, hang on. Let me bring it back up because it's way down here. Okay. The pre-show live match was Picture Perfect Jordan Cage defeating Chris Owens. Jackie Thad defeated Casey King. Marty Bell defeated Leela Feast. Pretty Boy Smooth defeated Sean Hoodridge. Okay, that match right there. He talked about it and said that the Sean Hoodridge run out a humongous snake with him to the ring. Well, you hang on a minute. I have a picture of that.
Okay, yeah.
Juan Berkey had a picture, and actually, if you look at it, it's actually 2 snakes. I mean, It looks like one snake because I thought it was one snake. Chris, if you make me big, hopefully you guys can see this.
Yes,
it's 2 snakes. But I at first thought it was one snake too. I thought that is one long snake. He said, "Look closely, it's 2 snakes." But there it is.
Yes, but Hollywood talked a lot about that on his show. So I just wanted to bring that up. And the fact that Hollywood was in the corner of the champion who retained Paragon. Yes.
That guy, have you ever seen him? He's really good.
Yeah, Paragon's very good.
WTF for a while. That's where I've seen him, and I've seen him at Emerge too. So
I've seen him. I've seen him at at the first one you said what it's called
WTF Wrestling Theology.
Yep, that's it. I'm having brain problems tonight.
Just tonight?
Well, all the time, but you don't have to give away
we
my
do.
secret.
We do. We've got to. No, we're not. No, come on now.
Real quick before we bring in our special guest, I'm assuming she's on there. Maybe
Yeah,
Chris can let me know.
that's who just commented.
Okay, we'll bring her in just a minute. But Mr. Misery, I wanted to. Did you happen to get to see the pay-per-view this weekend of AEW?
I didn't see it, but I was following it closely on socials.
It was very good.
It was good, interesting.
I heard it was very long. I heard by midnight they were still running that dang thing.
Well, 12:25 it ended. They're too long. I mean, there's no doubt.
My only criticism, and I want this to be marked out. I criticize AEW. I'm not. Okay, can we got to pump the brakes on the blood. We've got to pump the brakes on the blood. Too many matches had blood in them. Too many.
Well, and Warren, let's see if you agree with me on this. They could have fixed that. Well, first of all, you just had blood and guts 10 days ago. And then you come in and have 3 matches that had blood, and you put all 3 of them in the second half of the show. They should have spaced them out. And really, you had 4 matches that had blood, but I will give them credit that I don't think the one match was supposed to have blood. I think the guy just legitimately got busted open. Josh Alexander got busted open. I don't think that was planned. I think the mistake was you didn't need blood for Moxley's match. That should have just been a submission match. And if they
you didn't need it for the cage match.
Yeah, you did. I believe you needed it for the cage.
I don't think every cage match needs to have blood, though. I think.
Well, the reason I say because they use that cage. They use that cage to bust each other open. So I didn't have a problem with that. If you would have just had 2 matches with the blood, with the no disqualification that you had with
Briscoe and Protostar.
Briscoe, and him. I think that would have been good enough. But they are relying too much on the blood, but I think the reason is because they popped a decent rating with blood and guts. But you can't depend on that.
No,
you can't depend on that
because you're gonna drive away those families. The ones there's gonna be parents who are like, I don't want my kids to see constant crimson masks.
Well, and that's what Bully, I listened to Busted Open Day, and that's what Bully was trying to explain to Dave LaGreca, and LaGreca wasn't getting. He said you can't depend on that. They have to get they got it first of all, and he said he don't think Tony Khan cares. And Dave LaGreca's attitude was, well, I loved it, and it's what I like. F everybody else, they don't like it, don't watch. But the problem with that is if you continue to lose people watching the show, you may have to, especially if if they sell, if that company sells, you may have trouble finding another company. So I mean, I don't want it to go away. I want AEW. I like AEW. It's not my favorite. Yeah. Everybody knows that, but I watch it every week, and I like it. And also, it's good for the industry. We need AEW. AEW is very important to wrestling because it's more places that wrestlers can wrestle. Also, get them paid more money. It's very important. So I don't want them to go away, and I want them to get. We've talked about this before. I don't have the answer. I don't know why they lost a lot of their fans. I mean, I know wrestling has lost fans. I'm not just pointing it out. Just AEW. WWE's lost fans, but WWE's still selling out and doing pretty well. AEW, I don't know why they lost fans because I think the wrestling is better now.
The wrestling is, I think that they're suffering from a severe top dog, like that guy that you don't have a Roman Reigns, you don't have a Seth Rollins, a CM Punk. You don't.
That was the closest thing they had when Punk was there. When Punk was there, like him or not, when he was there, he was a draw for them. He really was. I mean, like him or not, or whoever's fault it was, I'm not talking about any of that. Yeah. CM Punk was a draw for AEW. There's no disputing that.
You don't have an AEW where someone, even like some of our younger guys, some of the younger people in here, like I know, I've got like House and all of them, to where they can say to their kids going, this guy, I watch. You don't have those where dads can say to their sons that watch this guy, because a lot of them were, for lack of a better term, unknown commodities. that when some of us were younger didn't see. I only knew about Kenny Omega through Bullet Club in New Japan. I didn't know anything about Omega in Mexico, and things like that. So you don't have those guys that are going to draw in just name alone, name alone to bring them in. And I think that's where the fan base was slipping, is you had all those people. It was a new shiny object. Let's all go check it out. Okay, the wrestling's good, but I don't know this guy. I have no reason to feel behind this guy. I don't know this girl. I don't this female wrestler. I think, and then those people filtered off, and then all of us that know are more into this kind of stuff, that appreciate the indie wrestling, the lower wrestlings, we stuck. And I think that's what happened. Is it was a shiny object to start and lost a little luster.
That's my problem, because Blood and Guts was good. This pay-per-view was very good. I really liked it. But when I watched the last AEW show, the one after Blood and Guts, it was just kind of, I mean, it just, like you said, there's nobody stands out to me. There's nobody I can get behind that I care about. I mean, I'm not saying they don't work hard. I'm not saying the matches are not good.
Oh, no, yeah.
But bottom line, and it's the first time I've ever said it, AEW's wrestling matches are better than WWE's. They are. They are. The wrestling is better. But now, where they lack for me is story, but not just story. To me, they don't sell enough. I don't get enough facial expression. That helps draw people in. If you get emotion, I want something to make me feel emotional, and I have problem. They don't. They've done it a couple times. I loved Hangman and Swerve, and it looks like they're going to maybe connect them back together. Hopefully, they can get some magic going with that. But they need something that connect with the audience.
And I mean, you've got.
And I don't know yet.
We know he's around the corner, but MJF will be back because he was a lightning rod.
But but I tell you, on that, he's been here and gone so much, it's not been the same.
He got too good as a heel to where people liked him, and that once he hit that, then it became an issue with how do you book this guy? How do you book a heel that is literally insulting everyone in the arena, and they're applauding him? Like, you can't. Because the second he became a heel face, there was no more there. It was like,
I'd kind of book him. I'm not saying he's stone cold, but I would go that kind of direction, and I'd put him up. You've got a very experienced Samoa Joe, the champion now. It looks like he's going to have a strong group behind him. I think maybe go up against them.
As I do think a little bit more about this, like, what had happened. I think things that happened they didn't expect to happen when they first started. They didn't expect Cody Rhodes to jump ship.
Yep.
And then you had the unfortunate passing of Brody.
Yes.
So there were things I think that happened that they didn't think was going to happen.
And they've had a lot of injuries.
It really put everything into a conundrum. They probably did feel that CM Punk was going to be, because he was good friends with the Bucks. There was a lot that, and then something happened, and I think, and so they had to dig themselves out of this, and they're getting there. And I think one of the key things they did was shrink their arenas. They went smaller. They keep the crowds compact.
That helped.
You got to do that. You can't. And you cannot think you can compete with the big money, because you'll never. Khan doesn't have enough money to match TKO. Anyways, I know we've got a guest.
Yes, let's move on.
I've been waiting for this guest.
Oh yeah, I have too. I'm looking forward to this. Chris, we want to bring our special guest in for rapid fire. Calamity Jayne. Definitely looking forward to this. Heard a lot about her.
Awesome. Thank you, gentlemen. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, to let you know how this works. Normally, my son Chris, he's just doing protection tonight because he's a little under the weather. He would be doing questions too, but he's not going to be here tonight. But it'll be Marcus will go first, Warren will go second, and I will go third. And we'll you got plenty of time to answer. I mean, with the questions, we'll rapid fire, but the answers you don't have to. Just and we'll do it for about 25, 30 minutes. And so hopefully you'll have a good time, and everybody will enjoy everything that we're going to do here.
Chris
I'll do my best, but I'm real long-winded, so I'll do my best.
Okay.
Chris is under the weather.
I'm happy to see Marcus. Like,
Yes.
he was one of the very first independent wrestling match that I went to after years and years and years after being out of the game. I show up, and Billy and Marcus are there. and he told me how many matches that he had been to, and I was like, dude, what? That's amazing. That's beautiful, and to me, that's what wrestling is. And who's your favorite super fan, Kelly or Marcus? Look, you answered the wrong way. I know I'm gonna be held accountable, and y'all are gonna string me up by my ankles, but I just love y'all both. I know that's a cop-out answer, but
Okay. We've had a few of those. Kelly's well ahead of Marcus. Sorry,
very well ahead.
yeah, she's very well ahead.
I haven't hit double digits.
He says, "Hey," he was like, "Hey, my lady, she's up here. I'm right behind her." That's a confident man right there, y'all. So
Okay.
shout out to Kelly. We love you.
Yes. Okay, Marcus, let's get things going.
Well, again, thank you. It took us a while to get this pulled off, but here we are.
Yep.
So, okay, my first question, as always, when did you first become interested in pro wrestling?
I was probably about less than 5 years old. My brother, I had an older brother that was probably about 8 or 9 years older than me. And his name is Ray. And we were privileged enough to be around. I was born in 86, y'all. People tell me all the time, they're like, I can't believe how young you are. No, I'm not young. I'm 39. I'll be 40 in February. And that was my first interaction with wrestling. I remember us watching Andre the Giant and obviously the Hulkster, Ultimate Warrior, all of that. One of the most important wrestling memories that I have was watching Marty, and I've said this 1,000 times, Marty Jannetty getting kicked through the barbershop window. That's how old that I am. And that was, and I have trust issues. I have trust issues because of that to this day. So that is, that's what kicked it off. And I remember very distinctly pretending to be Sensational Sherry, or at that time, Scary Sherry, on the playground. And she's been one of my greatest influences to this day. So
awesome. Hey, Warren.
All right. I don't know if you've ever watched our rapid fires before. I do bring a couple questions every week. My one I always love to lead off with. I'm going to give you a time machine and a front row center ticket to any wrestling event in history. Where are you going?
I have several. Oh God! Oh, why would you do that? Why would you make it? Why would you? I have so many. Okay, so first, I'm a big mark for Nick Bockwinkel. Love Nick Bockwinkel. Love George Goulas. Andy Kaufman and Jerry the King Lawler would be at the absolute top of my list. I cannot tell you how much, as a comic manager, that Andy Kaufman has influenced me. And then, of course, probably, I think it was SummerSlam, where in the 90s, where Medusa and Volcano faced off. If I could be front row center at that, 1,000% huge Volcano mark. Dump Matsumoto. I'm friends with Bull here on Facebook. She's outstanding. I was so glad to see her get inducted in the Hall of Fame. That would be one. I mean, I know you said to pick one, but obviously Savage and Steamboat, WrestleMania 3 would probably be at the top, and then maybe Hart versus Austin. Oh gosh, what an awful, that's a terrible question. That's an awful.
You know what? I want to say though, until this moment, I completely forgot about Kaufman and Lawler. This is a first. We need to bookmark this one. No one, am I right, guys? I mean, like this year, no one has said anything about Kaufman and Lawler, and I completely spaced on how that historic that was and how crazy that was back then.
So influential. So, and like everything that happens in social media today, like, is lightweight, but everybody should kiss the rings of Jerry the King Lawler and Andy Kaufman. 1,000%.
Yes.
Oh man, and then of course I'm going to go off for a little bit more. TLC match between Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys was a big one for me. Everybody, I feel like everybody talks about Taker and Mick Foley, but I also just an honorable mention to anything that Shane McMahon was ever involved in, because he took spots that I feel like seasoned professionals would not have really taken, but it was like he was trying to prove himself to his dad and just kind of like threw all caution to the wind. Oh gosh, like what a terrible question. Y'all are coming asking me all the hard stuff. Don't make me just pick one front row seat, because I'll tell you all of them. But for me, it was all. I'm a big Attitude Era. I kind of dropped off of Ruthless Aggression. People have heard me talk about it 1,000 times. The whole Kane and Lita storyline that they started doing around like mid 2000s, and like making her pregnant, Snitsky kicking baby. That
wasn't my fault.
That was like, I was like, you know what? I quit. That was my I quit match. I hate it. I'm never gonna watch wrestling again. And then about 20 years later, I came back to it, and I was like, you know what? I love wrestling, and here I am. So.
Okay. My first question is your inspiration for your wrestling persona or character.
So I just want to set the record straight, and I'll be completely honest. I do not have enough skin in the game to call myself a wrestler. And there's so many people that I love and I admire that have been doing it for years that are fantastic. And I'm not one of those people. I have been behind the scenes, or I have been in a complimentary role for several years now. And I did a little itty bitty, like 2 backyard matches. Jim Cornette would say outlaw must show bullshit matches. Sorry for the language, but that is the truth. Like, I would absolutely rate those as that, because I got out of high school in 2004, way back then, 2004, and I did like 2 like backyard matches, and they weren't licensed, and the cops showed up. And that was the end of my illustrious wrestling career at barely 18. So, and then 20 years later, after I get out of a difficult marriage, everybody's like, oh, I've done theater. I'm actually a classically trained musician. And I'll probably come back to that at some point. But I did all of this cool stuff. And then I came back and kind of circled back, and everybody's like, oh, you should come back to the theater, come audition, we've got parts for you. And do not get me wrong, I absolutely love theater, I love Broadway, but there wasn't anything in my local area that I was crazy about. And I was like, you know what, if I am not going to really like reap a huge paycheck, which a lot of the independent wrestlers can relate to this. If I'm not going to reap a huge paycheck, I'm not going to get any exposure. There's nothing going to become of this. Like, and I'm going to put my time, because your time is an investment. Your time is money. When it came down to being in a local theater production show, or going back and doing like little bit parts and like B movies and stuff, my thought process on that was, you know what? At least wrestling's fun. At least wrestling is honest. At least wrestling is a challenge, and I have something to learn from all of that. So that really inspired me to go to it was a Triple Crown Wrestling / Ultimate Championship Wrestling show. Shout out to Brandon Wilson and Terry England. Huge fans of theirs. And they're mentors of mine, and I showed up at a show, and they set me right next to Johnny Lee from the Nice Candy podcast, and Andy was there. Incredible card that night, and it took off. And this was, I think, in January 2 or 3 years ago. And I even set up, and I was like, hey, Royal Rumble's coming up. I don't know if you guys do pay-per-views or PLEs, but I'd love to be a part of it. Let's get together. Let's do business. Let's work magic. And I've been a part of their team ever since. But prior to that, probably a year or 2 prior to that, I was already working and doing articles for Pro Wrestling World. And I came on board, and the rest is history. So I've tried to learn literally everything that I can in between then and now.
Okay, Marcus.
I was at that show. That's the show she's talking about. We had Johnny Lee on. He actually was your replacement when you couldn't make it last month. So, okay, you answered my question.
Sorry.
Yep. You're good. You're good. I'll ask one of Chris's because you went ahead and asked how you got started. Best piece of advice and worst piece of advice you have been given.
Ooh, oh man, what a good question. Best piece of advice and worst piece of advice. Oh man, I wasn't ready for that one. All right. So the best piece of advice is that I need to work on my strikes. Thank you, international wrestling community, for that one. Very, very adamant in the comment section about that, and I don't mind that at all because to me that's constructive if you say it in the right way. The worst advice that I have given, I really haven't been given any bad advice. I will say this. I would say that advice that is given to somebody else on your behalf, aka not bringing it to the person directly, I think that's the worst kind of advice. And I look down on anybody that is not direct and that can't have a decent and a constructive conversation with you directly. If they're already in the business, I look down on that. And it's not, look, here's the thing. I've got my big girl panties on, and there's nothing that is ever said to me that I have not, how terrible it is or not. There's nothing that has been said to me ever at any point in history that I have not said to myself in the mirror in the morning and getting up and starting my day. I don't embarrass. I've had people, and of course, over at Pro Wrestling World, we have over 400,000 followers, and that's fantastic. Like, and I love that. I love being part of that community. Shout out to Pro Wrestling World. So thankful for that. But I've never at any point been ungrateful for any of that. However, I will say this, that if you are a veteran and you are making passive aggressive posts on Facebook that are seemingly directed at nobody, and you can't name me directly, you are a coward. You are a yellow-bellied coward, and my inbox is open anytime. And I have had any amount of people come to me and be like, hey, you need to work on this. Hey, you need to work on that. Guys, I've got maybe 2 or 3 legitimate hitting the gym, drills, trainings under my belt. At no point have I ever called myself a wrestler. I am a manager and I am a wrestling personality first and foremost. So let me just put that out there. But when I say this, somebody asked, who's your biggest influence in wrestling? Sensational Sherry, top of the list. If we're going wrestling and managing, Sensational Sherry, mic drop, I'll walk off right now. She's somebody that doesn't get she doesn't get her dues. Bull Nakano, Paul Heyman, Sean Waltman is somebody that is that was 6, that was 1, 2, 3 kid, that was X-Pac. Tremendous influence, because for me, the time that I got into wrestling to the time that, well, even now, somebody that influenced me was somebody that was willing to do the work hard, and be different than the norm. So I just kind of wanted to, I don't know. I have lots of opinions. We need to do this again. I know it's supposed to be rapid fire, but I will snatch that mic from you and never give it back. I'm so sorry.
You're fine. Warren?
I mean, yeah, I myself also being a manager and a GM of a promotion, One of the things I always find challenging, I like to think I'm able to meet that challenge, but is the fan interaction to get the what I want. What do you find that challenging too, and how do you come about that to do your thing?
Oh man, fan interaction, whether face, which is extremely rare, have done it. And I love it because nothing makes me happier, and I'm completely different from my in-ring personality, y'all. I have an 8-year-old. I'm a very loving individual, so I love shaking babies and kissing hands. I mean, kissing babies and shaking hands, and that is one of my favorite parts of wrestling. And it's I have an improv background, so being able to be quick-witted and react in the moment, from whether I've done it on stage. I was part of a prominent national improv group when I worked in Nashville, Tennessee. That is, man, that's part of the joy. Like, I love that. That to me, that's the joy. And it has to be individualized. Like, you can't just have like a script and walk out there, because you never know what somebody's going to say to you. But you also don't want to cross that line. There are lines that do not need to be crossed, and some people really like to push those boundaries nowadays, especially. And I'm a pretty personally very modest individual, and there are just some things that you don't do and that you don't say. And it just seems like there's this comeuppance attitude, especially when it comes to heels. Like, oh, well, you said this. Well, I'm going to say this. I'm going to take it to the next level. And there's just some stuff that you just don't do. So but that's never, personally, me, crowd work, that's never been a challenge, whether heel or face. I think that's a joy of what we do. So
yeah, I found out earlier this year when I was out doing my spiel and running down the crowd, I had used the term window lickers. And after I was done, I went back behind the curtain, and one of the guys like, dude, it was a great promo, but don't use that. I'm like,
don't say that.
It didn't even register in my head that, because I would never put it out to begin with. And I'm like, the second he said that, I'm like, whoop, yep, that one's gone.
No, I can't say that anymore.
Yeah.
I think I was in 6th grade English, and I had written this promo, and I had heard somebody use the phrase prick. Okay, don't shoot me. I had heard somebody use that phrase, and I incorporated that into writing. And my English teacher pulled me aside, and she was like, look, that was brilliant. I loved what you did, but you can't use that, because here's what it means, and it has different connotations. And it broke my heart, because I've always been an overachiever. I've always been a good student that you can count on. And it floored me to say that. And I found out that we did a thing the other day. I shared a post that was talking about Vince McMahon. And Vince McMahon specifically said that he doesn't like the word. He does not like that word. And he also doesn't like it when people sneeze around him. And I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, Mr. McMahon would have been furious about this. But yeah, so I just don't do that. It's all a big learning experience.
I'm trying to remember. Wasn't that the word that what's his name had used? And it was in India. It was in Indie Raw. It was dark show. He got fired. He was part of the tape with Saraya, and
Brad something. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. But
you know what I'm talking about. He got fired after that. I think, because I was at that show, and I think he used the word prick when he was trying
to P word.
And then he ended up getting fired. Yeah.
Yep. I can't remember his name. I know who you're talking about. Yeah. My question is, you get the opportunity to manage a 4-person faction. Who would be in that 4-person faction?
Ooh, are we talking? Now, hold on. I'm going to break it down, and I'm going to subcategorize it. We talking pro wrestling? We talking indie wrestling? We talking Joshi wrestling?
If you want to, you can do an indie and a pro.
Okay, good. Pro wrestling. If I could do, does it have to be current? Does it have to be current time?
Anything you want.
Oh no! Stop. Like,
You brought up Andy Kaufman.
like, are we talking like the best, the cream of the crop, the cream of
Yep.
the crop?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, y'all! I'm so excited. I'm shaking. Okay. Oh man. Oh my gosh. You could have given me a heads up. All right, 4.
That takes the hot seat out of it.
4 people, a stable, anybody in history.
Yes.
Jesus. This is so overpowered. I shouldn't even say it. I'm gonna mix all kinds of people here. Okay.
Okay.
Man, why would you do this, Marcus? We don't have to talk. All right. Bruiser Brody, Harley Race, Andy Kaufman is a manager, and then I would probably have somebody like X-Pac or some high flyer like Psychosis or somebody that was really heavy in like WCW cruiserweight, and they would be the undefeatables. But they would never book that because it wouldn't be realistic for them to get beat. I love so many different. There's so many. Oh man, I just need to think about that. When somebody asked me recently to do a Mount Rushmore, and I'm naturally blonde, and of course I had to throw a tag team on there. But if I did like a Mount Rushmore type thing, and I couldn't steal Johnny's answers. We were supposed to pick a woman. We were supposed to pick a stable. We were supposed to pick who do you think was the best all around, and then who do you think was the best person on the mic. For me, the best person on the mic was Roddy Piper. The best person all around, which he had said Ric Flair. A lot of people say Ric Flair. I love and respect that. I'm going to go with the underdog here, and I'm going to say Kurt Angle. That was somebody that was not only technically great, but also great at the comedy aspect. I would say Bret Hart, but he doesn't really bring the comedy aspect to the table. He's a dry guy. I love that about him too. So I would say Kurt Angle. One of my absolute favorite tag teams of all time, the Hardy Boys, because they brought a whole new element to the ring that was not around at that time, and they really them, Lita, and everybody that was involved, and really honestly they all have credits to the WCW Cruiserweight division, the High Flyers, and really kind of bringing that back. Sometimes I wish I could wish that back, not because the Hardys, but because I feel like high spots are kind of overused. And then, of course, one of my all-time favorite female wrestlers that I don't think gets enough credit for just how nose to the grindstone, get the job done that she was Medusa, aka Wonder Blaze. Love her, respect her. Of course, maybe my honorable mention would probably be Bull, because she just brought so much to the table in a time where the women's division was just a desert. Gosh, I got a lot of opinions. I'm sorry, I'm long to tell y'all.
Sorry, holy cow, we love it.
Well, here I got a question with that one. So, Chris, pull that back off there. I know what he's asking.
Oh yeah, I saw the question. I have a question. Okay. Maybe sounds done, but do you think Elizabeth was more like eye candy as a manager, or did she actually was doing it as management position? Me and this other guys went back and forth on this question. David, I think that's a fantastic question. I'm going to say something possibly controversial. Miss Elizabeth occasionally did mic spots. Her strong suit was not mic spots. I think of Miss Elizabeth as more of a valet because at the time she was considered eye candy. I don't consider somebody a manager unless they are incredible on the mic. If they're cutting promos for people, And that is not a diss whatsoever. That is absolutely zero respect. Elizabeth Hollett was, and rest in peace, one of the greatest that ever stepped into the ring. She inspired generations of people. However, she was a very shy person. I don't see her getting on the mic and dominating like somebody like, say, Sherry Martel did. And to me, I think, the gold standard as far as female managers go is Sherry Martel and Missy Hyatt, because they could get on the mic and interact just as much. There is a distinction, and I get livid. I'm talking balls to the wall livid if somebody refers to me as a valet. I'm not a valet. I'm not eye candy. I'm not there to show TNA. And that's no disrespect to anybody that does that. There's a place for everybody at the wrestling table. And that applies. And it applies in independent wrestling, it applies in pro wrestling. But when I think of a manager, I think of Paul Heyman, I think of Jim Cornette, I think of Jimmy Hart, I think of Sherry Martel. That to me is a manager, because that's somebody that is equally as vicious on the mic as they are in the ring or ringside.
Marcus?
Okay, well, we'll stay on the Miss Elizabeth thing. You've been to the Miss Elizabeth exhibit, I assume, at Frank. Okay, please tell us your take on that museum.
I think it's fantastic. I'm very proud. I know it could be better. I'm sure there's probably other items or things that they could add to that and supplement that place. But Frankfurt, the Kentucky Wrestling Federation, I do a lot of work with Kentucky Wrestling Federation as one of their main managers. And I hadn't really spent a lot of time in Frankfurt. And me being from a town that has one stoplight, I hear Frankfurt and I'm like, woohoo, big city. And then I go there and they've just got, it's like coming into another world. So when I was able to go to Frankfort, Kentucky at the Capital City Museum, we had a battle royale there. And it was mind-blowing, because not only is, you don't realize how deeply embedded she was, you don't realize how deeply embedded the Poffo family was. I mean, we do. But, I mean, most casual wrestling fans don't realize that there is such a significant and rich history here in Northern Kentucky and in, like, the tri-state area for wrestling. And that's where she called home. And they really, that was such a killer storyline that anything that she did with Randy, anything that she did even after that, I mean, it was just so it was like she was to be protected. And I love that. And it was an absolute honor. It was our inaugural, because you can't say first annual. I'm not trying to be a grammar Nazi or anything, but it was the inaugural Miss Elizabeth Battle Royale. And we paid homage to her. And that was actually the first official match that I had ever been in. And they were like, you're licensed in Kentucky, you know enough that you can hold your own and make it look believable. And I had a blast. And I'm such a nerd and I'm such a goof. I got into the ring, and there's this huge guy, he's an absolute box of a guy named Max Steele that wrestles on the independents. And he's a brick house. And so we get in there and they're like, just make sure you find somebody, like interact with somebody that's not doing anything. Perfect. So I look over, Max doesn't have anybody on him. He is quite literally the biggest guy in the ring. And he's still one of the biggest guys that I know. And me, not having any sense of danger, immediately walks over, starts chopping him, starts laying in punches, takes him to the corner. And it was so much fun. Like we had a blast. Everybody was very gracious and loving, and like walked me through that that process. They were like, you're licensed, and we don't have a single female participant in the battle royale. So if you want to do this, you can. And I did it because I was like, I've got to prove myself. I was so anxious to prove that I wanted to be a part of it. So that was an incredible time for me. Obviously, I went over the rope. Had a lot of things to say about that after the fact, but I actually wasn't in my heel stage or my villain arc quite yet when we did that. Of course, we've developed that a little bit since then, but it's a blast. It's addictive. So,
Warren?
All right. Us here at Gonzo's Wrestling Room, we have an unlimited budget. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a month's vacation.
When that happened,
you to one of 3 places to watch as much wrestling as possible. Where would you want to go? Japan, Mexico, or Canada?
Oh, okay. I have to pick one.
One.
You're a terrible human being, Warren.
Thank you.
No, but it's Japan. I said Japan before you even finished the question. I would go and just watch New Japan Pro Wrestling and Marigold stuff that they've got going on there. That is absolutely insane. When I think of Japan wrestling, I think of Matsumoto. I think of Antonio Inoki. I think of it's so rich. And when I think that says a lot about the Japanese wrestling scene, when so many American wrestlers are like, I would just love to just go and put my time in across the sea and just go and visit Japan. And there are so many people that are doing great work, and they are 1,000%. But my runner up would probably be Mexico, just because of the lucha scene, and there are so many respected. It's an entirely different thing, but I really respect and love the strong style wrestling that's prominent in Japan, and I feel like it's a rite of passage for any wrestler to go to Japan and spend time in Japan. And everybody that I look up to or have admired in the past has spent significant time in Japan. Yeah, and as a huge Medusa mark, like that's where she kind of brought herself up. So, and of course, name drop Bull Nakano again, but Dump Matsumoto, Yokota. I mean, it all. What a loaded question. You are an awful, awful person. But not to diss Canadian wrestling, because that would have been my third place. But like with Stampede and all that, obviously Natty's Dungeon would be on the list, or Stu Hart's Dungeon would be on that list. But as far as like modern day, I'd have to go with Japan first. Final answer.
My question is your favorite meal to eat.
Oh, favorite meal. I love food. I'm sure everybody can tell by looking at me. Based on our comments that we had on our video that did 5 million views on Facebook from where we were doing KWF at the Latino Fest. Everybody knows I like food. I'm a taller girl. I'm 5'7", and I weigh about 200 pounds. So, but I would like to say I've lost about 40 pounds since April. Real proud of that. But I love food. Man, okay. If I had to pick one food, like if I was on a desert island, I was gonna like eat that for the rest of my life. It would just be ice cold watermelon. Ice cold watermelon, that would be fine. Runner up would probably be something like, I don't know, chicken and dumplings, like something that's at home, or beans. Just soup beans, man. Soup beans, pepper sauce, cornbread. I'm thinking of it more from a last meal perspective. And then, of course, absolutely, there's nothing in the world and you guys can probably relate to this, there's absolutely nothing in the world that could beat when the concessions, when you're going to an independent show, and when they make that announcement that they have either reduced the price of or they are offering them for free, hot dogs. The post, nothing hits like a post-show glizzy.
Okay, Marcus, this is going to be the final question, but I am going to give you a bonus one. So you get two.
Get a bonus
Okay.
one.
You can have a bonus one.
Have you worked for OVW? Have you been doing stuff with OVW?
Me?
Yes.
No, I just I'm just kind of in like Flint. I just know people.
Okay, well then tell us about your podcasting.
I haven't worked directly with OVW. I will drop this factoid before I get into my podcast stuff. Fun fact about Calamity Jayne is even before I got into the wrestling stuff, when I was doing more acting stuff, I did a very, very independent comedy that has not been released anywhere. I just want to say, by the way, it's not been released anywhere, but it was trash. We tried to go through, we tried to do like post editing with some of the sound. Apparently some of the sound was messed up, so we never released it. But I was a girlfriend in an independent comedy movie, and I got to work with the legend Al Snow. And he played the absent father of the main character. And I got to interact with him. So if you go on my page, I probably need to like post him or pin him again. I actually got to work with Al Snow just very briefly. But I have photographic evidence that happened. But I've got a lot of friends that work at OVW that are super well respected or that I've interviewed. And I just love it because it's so historically significant to our state. And I think Kentucky has some of the best wrestling. But yeah, you said something about my podcast. So, oh wait, hold on. Somebody said Lucky P 4580. I think I know who that is. Mother. For Calamity Jayne is your favorite independent wrestling manager that carries a briefcase and has so far won 47 championships based out of Tennessee. I know there are many, and he's right. He's exactly right. Gosh, this is so hard because there's so many. Not really. Lucky P. Larson, you rascal, coming over here and commandeering my interview. How dare you? No, talking about somebody that I look up to on a serious note. Somebody that I look up to tremendously, that is a absolute phenom as far as a manager goes. The very first show that I ever did coming back, I was like, oh, I'm going to work as a heel, right? Well, then Tennessee Championship Wrestling in Tennessee, they asked me to come in, and they were like, well, we already have a heel manager, but we kind of want you to counter him, which people have mixed feelings about people being face managers. Oh, there's no place for face managers. You don't do that. You just do a heel. Blah, blah, blah. But we blew the roof off of that place that night, and I credit a lot of that to Lucky. We worked against each other. Me as a face manager for these gentlemen that were doing kind of a bit of a hillbilly gig. Came out. We did Cotton Eye Joe. We did the Do-Si-Do. Crowd loved it. The crowd and the fans were super receptive and fantastic. And I think you mentioned Sean Hoodrich earlier, and that has the snakes. I kind of have a little bit of a funny segue about that. Of course, this is the first professional show that I'd worked ever, really. And I go backstage, and things are kind of like winding down a little bit. And then I noticed that he had set like a big sack on the ground. And like I didn't know Sean. I didn't really know everybody's shtick yet. And I look over and I was like, well, that's rude. Like, why would you leave clothes there? Like, like, that's not very nice. Like, somebody could trip over that. And then it wasn't a few moments later, he pulls this huge snake out of this bag, and he was ribbing me, which, if you're going to be in the business, you got to be ready to get ribbed. And he pulls a snake out. I'm not scared of snakes, so that didn't have the desired effect. But and then I was like, oh, well, it's just a snake. I would have been more mad about the laundry. He's a great guy, though. I will say this: I am terrified of. We were talking about phobias the other day. I am terrified of frogs and toads, but not scared of snakes, spiders, heights, fires, public speaking. None of that phases me, but if a toad is stuck to the back door, it might as well, that back door might as well not exist. I hate it, and I credit a lot of that to Hell Comes to Frogtown. And for the longest time, people have asked me, they're like, did you go through something traumatic with frogs that makes you feel that way? And for the longest time, I couldn't think of it. And then Bobby Blade, shout out to Bobby Blade, casually mentions, he was like, have you ever seen Hell Comes to Frogtown with Rowdy Roddy Piper? And I was like, well, I've seen They Live. Everybody's seen They Live. And I looked up screenshots from it, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's where it all started. So I've been messed up ever since. I am trying to do exposure therapy. It's not working. But shout out, hey, we were talking about Kenny earlier.
Yeah, Kenny's in the house. The Mr. 100 is in the house.
Kenny's the man. Everybody in the business gets lit up when if they see Kenny in the crowd. And I think Johnny from the podcast, I think he even said that Kenny is like he's the Kentucky green shirt guy.
Kenny is us.
Kenny is the Kentucky green shirt guy, and we love him so much. I know he's enjoying time with his family in Georgia this week, but I'm tickled to death. I love Kenny. He's just so wonderful. He's a wonderful, wonderful guy.
Yeah, Kenny's the Kentucky version of us.
Yeah.
They're happy to see us up here. They're happy to see Kenny down there. So, and me and Kenny have crossed paths. He's been up here while I was down there, which was weird, but yeah, congratulations, Kenny. That's a big thing. We hit 100 a few years ago. So,
can you tell us a little bit about your podcast?
So, I started working on. I have 3 different avenues. Obviously, Pro Wrestling World's the largest. We have almost 400,000 followers there. We're kind of a big deal. We're one of the largest wrestling Facebook pages on Facebook. And it's mainly like a news site, but occasionally and now I do go live there or share it to our page there. So shout out to our Pro Wrestling World team. And then, of course, a couple of years ago, I started working with Nice Guy Andy podcast, and being the only female and being part of that was very, very important. So I'm always super thankful to Andy and Johnny and Sean and everybody that's there for being part of that. And it's more of an independent focus. You know, everybody like Nice Guy, they've got over 30,000 followers there. So, and then, of course, then you have me, and I just kind of do what I want. As far as like my own marketing, my own branding, I do have a bit of a niche talent for identifying what works and what doesn't as far as when marketing goes. But I thoroughly enjoy just kind of doing my own thing. I like to blend comedy. I enjoy really well done comedy, and there's been like this recent aversion lately, and it's just like Marks will get in the comments, feel like crapping all over comedy spots, but you can't have, I don't think if you were to eliminate all of the comedy spots, out of professional wrestling, you wouldn't have as an enjoyable of a show. It is supposed to evoke emotion. You either need to be super happy, you either need to be super angry, you need to laugh, you need to be disgusted, and if it's anything that turns that needle past a certain point, you're onto something. So I think there's a place for everybody, and I absolutely, like I mentioned earlier, I'm a huge Andy Kaufman fan. Huge inspiration for me personally. That the movie Man on the Moon actually is what kind of, aside from my brother and us watching wrestling, that's kind of what drew me back in. So very, very thankful for that.
Warren?
I'm going to do my final question. I'm going to switch it up a little bit. Usually I ask about DX and NWO, but I'm going to do a little more spicy one here for you. Are you a Bullet Club member for life, or are you a Los Ingobernables?
Man, I really kind of wish you would have done DX or NWO, because I would have said both based on how big of a Sean Waltman mark that I am. I'm probably going to get hate for this in the comments. I guess if I had to go with man, I mean, everybody knows Bullet Club, right? So is me being somebody that does like social media work, social media marketing, probably gonna go with Bullet Club. I just don't know. I'm gonna play the fifth. I don't know enough about either of them, or I haven't seen anything. I know that there are notable members of both, but I would be hesitant to acknowledge that they're really like just super on my radar. I will say this though, controversial, take it or leave it. I know everybody's just eat up with NWO. I love them too. However, if we're talking about influence on moving forward in the new generation of wrestling and Attitude Era, for me, it is DX, hands down. But I don't have to choose because I'm a Sean Waltman fan, and he was part of both of them. Thank you and good night. Mic drop. So.
Marcus, what was the greatest faction?
Probably the Four Horsemen.
Yes.
Oh, God, killer.
Yes. Four Horsemen.
Well, but does the Dudley family count as a faction? Because Dudley family is pretty sweet.
Yeah, but I mean, they don't have Dean Malenko and they don't have Arn Anderson, so I think that's like comparing apples to oranges. Because look, love the Dudleys. Don't get me wrong, absolutely adore them. But that is, if I had to break down favorites, that's what I hate. Like, name your favorite so and so. It's like, well, what era do you want? What promotion do you want? Because I'm very opinionated about all of them. I will say this: I feel like somebody that is incredibly underrated as a faction. I see like it's gaining traction lately. Is Nation of Domination? Because if you look back at that, you've got Ron Simmons, you got Godfather, Rocky Maivia, aka Dwayne Johnson, D'Lo Brown. That was, to me, that was like a little sweet spot of wrestling. I do feel like they are severely underrated as a faction. But I love me some Dudleys.
Well, I'm going to do Chris's final question. You know, okay,
we got to get that in there.
Yeah. You tell us where everybody can find you. Whether you got shirts, merch, anywhere that they can find you on social media.
So mainly Facebook. I'm a Facebook girl. I don't do Twitter. I don't have an Instagram. I don't care about Instagram as much. Maybe I should. Maybe I'm too old and I just need to like get with the times. Don't have a Twitter. Don't have a Snapchat or an OnlyFans. Don't ask. Rude. Some of us are modest. And hey, like I've said, like that's also not, like we were talking earlier, like that's not the TNA thing, like that's not my bag. No disrespect, but I've got an 8-year-old daughter, and I remember what it was like to be 8 and it's incredibly important to have solid, non-suggestive female representation in wrestling and managing behind the scenes in wrestling. And that is incredibly, incredibly important to me. So, but basically here on Facebook, I'm going to be starting YouTube here before too long. You can catch me over the Nice Guy Andy podcast occasionally. Pro Wrestling World, please, like them and follow them if you're not already. I probably don't need to promote that because it's like, we've got, we're kind of a big deal, but if I could promote,
millions,
yeah, I'm kind of a big deal, baby. I'm sorry, I'm a big Conan fan too. Go to Kentucky. If I could promote anybody, go to Kentucky Wrestling Federation. They're based out of Frankfurt. We are building something awesome there. We are trying to do something unique and not offer the same cards that everybody throughout the state is doing. And then second to that, there's a new upstart that is kind of like more along my area. And it's United Pro Wrestling. So give them a follow. United Pro Wrestling. Fantastic. They are bringing people from other cards throughout the state, kind of blending them together in a way that I've not seen before. I did some ring announcing for them probably about 2 Fridays ago. And we did a Toys for Tots event. And it was just fantastic. Fantastic people, great folks, and highly enjoyable. So,
I'll tell you what, thank you for being on. We greatly appreciate it. Fantastic. Go ahead.
I want to throw the hat in the ring right now. We need to have her on again. I mean, I
I
don't think
agree.
we scratched the surface of all the stuff we could talk with you about.
I agree.
oh my God. You mean to tell me I didn't crap on the business? Because that's what they say in the comments section on some of these videos. I crapped on the business. I don't know what I'm doing.
No, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring to bring you back for another round. We can have.
Oh, because I play ball. Like people were like, "Oh, she can't." This is the most infuriating thing. Somebody said that I had tried to come in through the business through the back door, which has multiple meanings. Don't Google it. But basically, with me being a female coming into the business, it was very, very important for me to assert myself and just prove that I don't know anybody in the business. I don't have family in the business. I don't have, my family is they're not even wrestling fans. It's kind of like going rogue. So I really and truly and thoroughly enjoy this and being a part of it. I love the writing. I love booking. I love being a part of it as a manager, working as a heel. And very, very opinionated, but I just love it. I will say this, my weakness is that I don't know anything about really the ruthless aggression area because I had kind of, what killed me as a wrestling fan, and I didn't come back for like 20 years, was when they did the whole Lita and Kane getting pregnant together storyline.
Yeah.
Everybody has a thing in wrestling and they're just like, let's not talk about it. And that, for me, like, I was like, you see people in the comments all the time, they're like, I'm not watching wrestling again. That was me during that story. When Snitsky punted the baby, I was out. I was done. That was it for me. So I actually have to Google a lot of stuff as far as the ruthless aggression era is, to the point that my introduction and my really enjoying John Cena was when he worked as Ricky Snake here lately before he did this last run. And that's embarrassing to say because how he's done so much for the business, and how do you just like John Cena because he was Ricky Sadeki? But as a comedian, I have to respect that and love that. So that was a big deal.
Again, thank you for coming on. Like, we'll have you on again sometime.
Real quick, I just wanted to jump on and say this has been one of my favorite rapid fire guests that we've had so far.
Oh, I agree. I agree 100%.
You hear that, international wrestling community? I'm going to use that as a direct quote, and I'm going to plaster that across pictures of my face with a 5-star rating. From here on out, you have unleashed the beast, sir.
Well, again, we appreciate you coming on. Hopefully you have a great night. We will we'll definitely reach out again and have you on again sometime.
Tony, thank you so much. Marcus, thank you so much. Warren, it was awesome meeting you guys. Thank you so much. What they're doing here is fantastic. And before I leave, I just want to say that, man, I love wrestling so much. I think there's enough room for everybody to eat at the table. Yep. I know there's wrestling's probably one of the most toxic fan bases ever. But I think that we're extremely blessed. And I think that people don't realize, I mean, I'd rather have what we have now than calling in with my parents' credit card to a 1-800 number and paying $60 for a pay-per-view. But maybe that's just me. Yep. And we are blessed because anything that we want to know or learn about, we can look up. And if you're within an hour of an independent wrestling promotion, go check those folks out because that's what's important. That's the future. And we're building the future right now. So.
All right. Well, you have a good night.
All right. Thanks, gentlemen. Thanks for having me on.
Marcus?
I thought that went well.
Yeah, I've got to cover something. So, Chris, don't block me off here yet.
Okay. Won't you go ahead and do that?
Okay. The Chris Wiley Memorial Show is Sunday at the Dub. Doors at 5, bell at 5:30. Front row seats 15. The rest of them are 12. Kelly's made an Afghan. There will be other raffles. All proceeds will go to the place called Cancer Support Community. This is the show in memory of Todd Wiley, T.S. Wiley's wife, Chris, who passed away last month. Please come out, support Todd, support this cause. And I know we got 2 other big shows at the Dub. Make it a triple shot. Show back up on Sunday. So
definitely.
Thankful. Thanksgiving time.
And I've seen talent who says they're coming. So you're probably going to see people on the card Sunday that you've not seen at the Dub for a while. So, but yeah, it's going to support the Cancer Society and most importantly to remember Chris, who is a dear sister to all of us. So.
Yes, very nice lady, and still prayers out to Todd and all the family there. He's going through a tough time. It's always something tough. She was a very young lady to pass so soon, so definitely sad. But go out there and support Todd and the family on Sunday.
And if you need info, get a hold of myself, Kelly, Leslie Vickers. She's also heading that up. I would say kind of let Todd alone. If we need to ask him something, we will. Don't let him be. If you've got questions, ask myself, Kelly, Leslie. We will find the answer for you. So he's got people helping him with this. So
good. That's good. Well, guys, we'll get out of here. We know show on Thursday, Face or Heel for Thanksgiving, Chris's birthday. I can't say what I said on the other show what he'll be doing on his birthday. I think I got banned, so Chris knows what I'm talking about. I stunned them guys on that show. Wouldn't stun you guys, but I stunned them, so I'm not going to repeat that. But anyway, everybody have a great Thanksgiving. Have a great weekend. Check out some independent wrestling, and everybody hopefully have a great holiday.
Go Lions!
That'd be absolutely devastating.
This is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this broadcast forever, and this is the worst damn broadcast I've ever been on. So you all kiss my ass while I